What is poppin', everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Raucous Modern Life podcast, a lifestyle show which features conversations with some of the most interesting and inspiring young adults living here in the Philippines. The purpose of this show is to educate the listeners and myself about different hot topics in Filipino society and culture while providing quality kalokohan. Let's get to it. What's up, guys, and welcome to Season 2 of the Raucous Modern Life podcast. Now, before we get into the show, I just want to give some quick shout-outs to some of the people that helped in the Season 2 production and made it possible. So first, I just want to thank my boy, Dubs Winicky, Justin Winicky, who helped in the trailer and the awesome video that you saw earlier. I'd also like to give thanks to Gino Tantuico for making that spicy beat, which is now exclusively for the Raucous Modern Life intro music. And I would like to thank the two artists that helped with all of the art related to Raucous Modern Life, and that's Cristina Montalibano and Liz Gabato. Now, before we begin, I guess for those of you listeners who are just tuning in,
allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
Roque Banzon. Now, I was an ex-athlete and played baseball for 13 years. I am now also enrolled in the College of Veterinary Medicine in UP Los Baños, as I am an aspiring vet. And lastly, I'm your host of the Raucous Modern Life podcast. Now, although the name is called Raucous Modern Life, it's truly not about me, and it's really about my guests and the unique things that they bring to the table. It's about connecting with people and educating both my listeners and myself about the different topics in Philippine society and culture. So without further ado, let's get to it. In today's show, I am joined by a very special guest for the very first episode of Season 2. She was a UAAP courtside reporter for Season 78 and 79, represented the UP track and field team for 5 years, was my classmate and batchmate in the UP Diliman College of Human Kinetics. She is currently a freshman in the Ateneo de Manila University School of Law, a functional fitness advocate and influencer on the social media platforms, a die-hard Avatar the Last Airbender fanatic, and is co-host of the Hear 'Em Out podcast. It is my pleasure to introduce you all to the one and only Niña Alvia. What's up, Niña? Thank you so much for being on the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited. Woo, Avatar.
I'm hyped too to have you on the show. Can I just say that I got super tired naming all of your credentials because there's a lot and it's not even all. And all I can say is I super appreciate you for being on the show because I know you're a busy girl, especially now with law, and I'm just happy that you gave time for this recording.
I have no school tomorrow. This is fine. This is my break. I'm excited to be here.
Nice. I'm super glad to have you on. Another new addition to the Raucous Modern Life podcast is my boy Dubs. Dubs will be our technical guy. This is a kind of trial pilot, but let's see how it goes. For any of you guys who have watched Joe Rogan podcast, he has a Jamie, and now I have a Dubs. What's up, Dubs? Give a hello to the people of Raucous Modern Life.
Yo, what's up, guys? This is not a crossover episode. I trimmed my toenails for this episode, so let's go.
That's when you know. So, again, let's get into the meat of the show. So, let's start off the podcast, as I always do, by asking the question to my guests. What's poppin'? So, Niña, what's poppin'?
what's poppin'.
I don't know why I still feel like loud. I knew the Pop Tarts asphalt was gonna. It looks like Oreo. I'm so bothered. But
How misleading.
Okay, so as you said, nga, first week of law school is I'm so tired, but it's fun. It's hard, tiring, but I'm honestly having fun. Like, I enjoy reading the cases because it feels like chismes.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's legit, dude.
And that's your passion, really, chismes.
Chismes is my passion. Like, that's why I wanted to be a lawyer. Joke lang. Technically, this is like my third week because we had 2 weeks of introduction to law, and then this is like the first week of law school proper. Like this is the
Mhm.
real,
It's
thing.
the real
So,
deal.
mm-hmm.
All right. So I guess building off that, I just wanted to ask, when did you decide that you wanted to pursue law? I mean, 4 years of hard school, it's not something that you can just decide on just like that. So I want to ask, like, is this something that you've always wanted to do, or is this something that came to you later in life?
So actually, when I was in high school, I never being a lawyer never crossed my mind. And like even entering college, diba, sports sci, I was thinking, oh, maybe it can be a pre-med and whatever. I mean, all my friends also, most of our friends are in
Yeah.
med school and
Mm-hmm.
everything, right? And it was only when like in first year, like I saw the real problems that athletes actually have, like student athletes, national athletes, that there were so much more like deeper problems that could kind of be, I feel like, saved if they knew their rights and everything, or if people like respected um their sports and everything. And it's, I think, especially like that's when I realized how much child athletes are also not super being prioritized. I mean, like they are prioritized in a way, but they're like being clumped into like the child entertainment section part of like the protection. But I want to protect them sana also as like athletes also, because it's very easy to exploit children. Because I mean, I like one of my orgs is a child rights
Yeah.
org.
Cradle, right?
And Cradle, yeah,
Yeah.
you know it.
Yeah, of
um
course.
so I realized also how easy, like it's easy for people to exploit kids because they're kids already. So if they're athletes pa, and then because as a former child athlete, a lot of commercials like get you because you can do like stunts or whatever. Because like I mean, it's easier. They don't have to get a stunt double for a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very easy to be exploited by anyone you think you trust. And I don't know if there's something I can do about it. There's so much I don't know yet, but I think that's one of the things that I like, that really prime pushed me into this direction. And then, do you remember sports management? Who's your prof in sports
Sir
management?
Barber, for sure.
Ayan,
Classic.
Sir
Yeah.
Barber. So Sir Barber was also my prof,
Mm-hmm.
and we talked about sports law. And then since I knew Attorney Sagisag, he back then he was just UAAP commissioner, and now he's also the UAAP director. So
Mm-hmm.
he's our course mate for my
Yeah. Taga,
CHK.
taga CHK. If anybody
Yeah,
can see my
CHK.
background right now, I'm repping the CHK gym. It's
That's
a
the old
shithole.
CHK.
It's a shithole, but it's our shithole. That's what's most
That's
important.
true.
It's
Oh
our
my god,
shithole.
that's so true. Like showers with no like everything. Oh
No
my god.
curtain, no
No
heater, no nothing.
curtains, nothing. But
Basta may tubig.
basta, sometimes no tubig.
Sometimes no
Sometimes.
tubig pa.
Oh my god. Anyway, I'm a CHK.
Same,
So
same.
sad.
So that's how
But
Niña and I met through CHK.
mhm.
And
And
go
Attorney
ahead.
Sagisag is also CHK.
Yeah.
So he talked for a sports law class, and that's when it like I solidified my like my want, and like this is my way, my path. I'm gonna do this. And then I learned more about sports law. Of course there's so much I don't know, like for sure, like I don't there's so much I don't know, but like I'm just very excited to learn about everything and hopefully help out in any way I can in the future.
Yeah, that's great. It's nice that you have a specific also like niche that you wanna like cater to help out in the future. I guess for some other people, I mean, I know kasi what they're going through also in terms of like being exploited. But for some of the listeners that don't know what type of exploitations going on with child athletes, why don't you like share like an example or shed some light on what these kids are actually going through and the situations that they're put in?
Okay, so I'll just name like one example, but without names.
Yeah, of course.
There was this athlete. She was, I think, 13. Her family wasn't very well off, but she won a lot of medals and everything. So there a big brand got her as like their athlete. Um, she thought that she was getting at least 80% of like she thought she was getting 80% of what she was being paid, but she was actually getting 20%. And the thing is, like, I knew this when I was like grade 5, I think, and I just knew it was wrong, but it didn't like I didn't realize how wrong it was until I got older, and I was like, that is child exploitation, literally.
Mhm.
So, things like that. Like, I'm pretty sure she super trusted her coach, and the coach just, and she also couldn't do anything about it. I mean, like, not, it's also very expensive to like sue and file cases and everything. And I'm pretty sure she didn't really know. Like, she was just happy, I guess, to get any sort of money from the brand. So, but it was being given through the coach, and the coach wasn't very honest with how much she's supposed to be getting. So the coach got majority of her earnings, and then I just know it was an issue, but they didn't super. It didn't become like a
Public.
full blown big deal public.
Mhm.
Yeah, they didn't do that
Yeah.
anymore. So yeah, that's one of the things. That's just one of the things. So
Yeah, there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on. Especially in China with like how they're training their Olympic athletes. There's
oh my
like
god,
so many
yeah.
like human rights laws that they're violating, and there really should be more lawyers out there protecting that specific niche. And of course, you could do other things also in the future, but it would be nice to have some representatives of these children. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so speaking of sports, one thing that Niña and I have in common is that we both graduated from UP Diliman under the College of Human Kinetics as my background
Woo!
and under the course of sports science. So, another thing that we do have in common is that we both interned in Underdog. Underdog is a gym. It was created by UPCHK alumni, so represent. And one of their staple, what makes them different, is really the attention towards functional fitness. Now, what exactly is functional fitness? It's a little bit muddy, and it's like you could define it in so many different ways. But I think overall, it's really just using movements and prime movers that you use on a normal day-to-day basis or that is specific to your sport. So
Yes.
this is something that I really wanted to talk with you about because functional exercise rather, was my thesis. So it's something I'm very interested in as well. And you yourself are a functional fitness, like I guess, advocate, influencer
Yeah.
on social media. Like you
Oh,
post a lot about informing
oh.
people about what functional exercise really is. So I guess I wanted to ask you, like, what is, in your perspective, what is functional fitness and your background in functional fitness or underdog?
Okay, because I'm so sad with Underdog that I didn't get to, like, I wasn't, I didn't get to intern. So, alam mo yung nangangepa lang ako. Like, I just go there, even if I'm not an intern. I'll be
Yeah.
like, hey, what's up?
Coach
My
Jolo
athlete
naman ah.
here. Yeah, it's Coach Jolo. And
Shoutouts
I
to Coach
see that.
Jolo.
I don't think he's gonna listen to this, but I'm gonna email
Yeah.
it to him because he has no social media.
Yeah. Hashtag no social media, Coach Jolo.
Oh my god. So it was actually from Coach Jolo where I learned how important functional fitness is. Because you always have to have an intent for it. And for me, kasi functional fitness is more, yun nga, doing an exercise that's going to help you with your everyday movements. And I think kasi like with most people, and it's also focusing on the basics. So the basics are like squats, deadlifts, and the
Compound
simple
movements.
movements,
Yeah.
compound movements, like simple movements. But like, apparently people, I guess nowadays they want make it. I don't know. They want something
Instant
exciting, even if
results.
yeah,
Also,
it doesn't
yeah,
work that way,
yeah.
and it's just. I just every time I see someone say something wrong, it's like, do I message them? Do I just I cannot see anything, or I don't know what to do because I feel so shy because I know a lot of people are gonna be like, actually there are people who are just like, oh, you're just not getting the views kasi, or because you're a coach and you just want the money and they're not giving you any, and it's like it's
It's
not
not
that.
about that. It's not about
It's
that.
not about that. It's because you're wrong.
In your face. It's because I'm
Um,
right and you wrong.
and I'm just so frustrated. Like people don't want to listen to sports science majors, and it makes me so mad sometimes because it's just like just listen. It's literally what we study for 4 to 5 years, diba?
Yeah.
And I think the thing that people need to know about functional fitness is that it doesn't it you can just actually stick to like 3 to 4 exercises, and you have to be patient with the results. And the most important thing is your intent. I
Mhm.
remember that's what Coach
True.
Jolo always said. Na parang make sure like not just every set is don't just make sure that every set is good. Make sure that every single rep is done with intention. So so you know that it's going to like whatever goal you have, and you just really have to be patient. It's pretty simple, but like it's the parang sports scientist or like the fitness instructor's job na lang to get down to the nitty-gritty of it. But the whole concept of functional fitness is just simple. It's like a few exercises and just patience and
Yeah.
nutrition. My god, that's the
Oh my
hardest
god,
part.
yeah.
Nutrition.
I mean, I'm
Uh,
pretty sure like a lot of you guys have heard about it, but nutrition is really at the top of the pyramid when it comes to performance, hypertrophy, whatever. Like I mean, of course, exercises are super key as to your
mhm.
progress and development as an athlete, but it really all boils down to nutrition. As much as we like to admit it or not, it really is.
Yeah, it's so hard to do.
It's so
That's the
hard.
only thing I cannot do. I can sleep, I can exercise. The hardest is eating right,
Mhm.
especially as someone I hate vegetables. So it's hard to do that, but that's all you got to do
Yeah,
to be healthy.
yeah. And I think like um especially like building off of that, it really depends also on what your goal really is. Like,
Mhm.
people think that, exercise is all I think the general public tend to believe that when you exercise it's towards one goal, and that's usually hypertrophy. That's like the common like belief of people. But I think before you even start exercising, it's important to lay out what exactly your goal is. Do you want to be ripped? Do you want to be stronger? Do you want to be better
Yeah.
at the sport that you're doing and function like, like live a healthy lifestyle and like
Yeah.
feel good and make your body feel good? You need to like zone in on one thing. Although you can
Yeah.
do workouts that like, kind of touch on both, I think if you're
Mhm.
starting out, you definitely need like a goal in mind. You need to have
Yeah,
smart
definitely.
goals. Yeah, smart goals.
Yon! That's what we studied, but
Hells
oh my
yeah.
god. 5 years of this and you won't listen to us? Joke. Oh my
Wala,
god.
dude. I mean, CHK also unfortunately carries that stereotype of wala, atleta lang yan, vaas lang yan, di nag-aaral
Yeah.
yan. But it's so unfair because a lot of the people do actually give a shit about what they're learning, and they do put a lot of give a lot of time and attention into the
Mm.
things that are being taught in class. And I feel like although some profs are a little bit too lenient on the students because they're athletes,
Yeah.
um, if you actually listen, dude, you'll learn so much. You'll learn so much. Like not
Mhm.
only about like exercise physiology, but like about biomechanics and just overall living a healthy lifestyle. And I think that
Yeah.
that's a skill that you can carry until like the end of your days.
What I love about sports sci is it touches on both natural sciences and social sciences, and forever I'll be grateful the fact that that included sports sociology and sports management, so it could like help people realize, oh hey, this is another path we can do. Like okay, we can also be like a doctor or or a fitness instructor, but I didn't know that there was such a thing as a sports lawyer. So, but there, like, I mean,
Damn.
it's so cool. I love CHK so
Yeah.
much.
It's very
Yeah.
diverse, honestly, and like since it's a science course, you could like pretty much get into any type of science, either masters or postgraduate studies. I mean, I'm enrolled in vet school. It's like nothing to
Yeah.
do with thank you. But it's like nothing to do with sports, but just that background, I guess, on anatomy and
Yeah.
physiology and bioenergetics. Although it's gonna
Oh
be
my God.
vary from like animal to animal, it's still kind of the same concept. And a lot of
Yeah.
mammals use like Krebs cycle, like what's it called,
Oh.
ATP,
uh,
ATR. We don't have to get into the details
I
of it.
don't. I can't hear this anymore. I don't understand. That
We're
was
done with
so
it.
hard for me.
That
I
was so
tried so
3 months
hard.
ago.
Oh my
Yeah,
God, that was like last. Oh my God, I'm so old.
yeah. Time
Oh my God.
flies.
Oh my
Time
God.
truly flies. All right, so I guess for the next part of this topic, I guess I just want to ask, what are some common pet peeves and myths about fitness that
Oh,
kind of boils your blood? Because you tend to be pretty outspoken about this. So, what are some of the
ah,
things?
oh my God. How to say it nicely? I'm so confused with the bananas and pajamas pa rin down there
Shout outs to
and Greek
Steve.
flutes. I don't know. Okay, I'll say this in the nicest way possible because I honestly, there are some people who are hating on her na not constructively, and I
Mm,
think that's what makes me angry because parang I mean, because for some reason, if it's not constructively, like people won't really take the criticism well, and then they won't listen to what they need to like fix or what they need to improve on. So she's just using the term hate. But really what she's doing is it's just I'm sorry, girl, it's kind of wrong. Like I did did I do I think one or two workouts and I was just like sis. But it I it does work for people who haven't kasi like my pet peeve talaga is like when people say, "Oh, lose this much weight in like 2 weeks," or get a hourglass figure body in like 1 week, 2 weeks, and then I'm just like, it doesn't work like that for everyone because
doesn't.
everyone has a different body type, and like even if you have the same body type, like what you call this, the chemistry inside your body and like all the other factors can affect like you not having exactly the same body type. That's like it's very different per person. Like the process is very different per person. But of course, as much as possible, you want it to reach the same direction, especially as athletes. But this time, if you're going to tell people to like for general fitness, especially if people haven't worked out, I think it's not her workouts, I guess, aren't
It's not a
the
bad
best.
start, but it's yeah,
It's not a bad start, but it's don't
yeah,
do it forever. Cause like I've
yeah.
had friends actually like, so
Wait,
she
wait,
shows
hold
up.
up. Can I just give context for people who are listening to this audio? Because we've been using she the entire time,
Oh
and
my god.
right now we're flashing a picture of Chloe Ting because Chloe Ting is a very popular quote unquote fitness influencer on YouTube with well over 10 million subscribers, and some of her videos have 37 million views. And yeah, just some context for some people that are listening to this audio only. All
I'm so
right, go
sorry,
on.
but like yeah, that's it's I mean, okay, so her workouts aren't exactly the best, but I feel like sobrang clickbait yung titles. Like, I had a friend message me and I felt so bad. Like, she said that she kind of got in back deep into her body dysmorphia because she keeps on saying, "Oh, guaranteed like 2 weeks hourglass body," and then like she didn't get that hourglass body or whatever. Like, she followed the program, but she didn't like have the same results as other people. So like I just want to tell people na it's not the same for everyone talaga. Like you really have to find not only what you enjoy doing, but it's something you have it's like you have to experiment on yourself sometimes and especially like with her I just don't like how I mean, I guess for other people, she's promoting self-love, but for the people who get affected with what she says, na, oh, it's supposed to work for everyone, and then they're like, oh, what's wrong with me? And then they go back deep into their body dysmorphia. Or like, there are people, because I posted a TikTok about like, I just kind of, I didn't hate on her because I don't hate her. It's just, I'm not, I don't support what she does as a sports science graduate.
Yeah.
I really do not support what she does. But I got so worried because a lot of there were like so many comments that said, "Oh yeah, I sprained my wrist while doing it." I was like, and then so many people said, "I sprained my wrist too. Me too." And then
Oh
I
my
was like,
God.
ah, I was just so scared in general for everyone. So that's why I'm not super promoting her because the titles itself are clickbait and like okay, I'm gonna mention who naman I like Mad Fit and I don't know how do you say her name, Natasha Ocean.
Hmm.
Basta sila they really say, oh okay, so we focus on abs, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna get abs in like 2 weeks. Parang ganon. So you have to explain it and in like the layman's terms.
Yeah.
I think I'm talking too much about this. I'm so
No,
sorry.
it's
I
fine.
just
It's
get
fine.
so frustrated with this with people like that. But you know, I just hope someone talks some sense into her because she has a large reach
Yeah.
and she's inspiring a
10
lot of
million
people
subs.
to I
Yeah.
know. And I think like the thing is people think that she's credible just because she has a lot of followers. But like having a lot of followers or views like doesn't mean you're credible.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, anyway, that's I'm just gonna stop there before I like start crying. Joke lang.
That's fine. It was everything that you said is honestly true and it's very clear cut. I think one of the biggest myths for me that most people believe is that there's one way to lose weight and that's the only way to lose weight. That's the biggest myth because everybody's body differs, every exercise differs, and you can't just keep doing the same exercise all the time. You have to keep it varied. And just like with your diet, you gotta keep it varied. So I guess that's the one myth that I want to talk about, that there's no such thing as abs in 2 weeks. There's no such thing as 20-day killer. I mean, unless your body fat is like at about 15% and you're so close to getting abs, or you use clenbuterol, that's not possible. That's not possible. I'm just saying.
Oh,
2 weeks,
yeah.
that's not possible. And it's not only is it not possible, but highly, highly unsustainable to be putting that like amount of like effort every single day in like 2 weeks. No way you're gonna continue that. Like after two
Yeah.
weeks, even if you do like let's say best case scenario, you do lose weight. Congrats, you lost weight. But then right after that 2 weeks, your body's super fatigued and you're gonna be like, okay, I'm just gonna chill and I'm gonna order tiger milk tea and then fucking makdo, diba? It's like you're just gonna yo-yo effect. You're gonna lose a lot of weight
Yeah.
and then gain a lot of weight again. So I think it's really important to find something that's, just more sustainable for you. And
Exactly.
although with all that being said and hating on like, Chloe Ting and how all the shit that she says is honestly pretty wrong, it's actually kind of hard to hate someone that's actually doing a lot of people good by getting them
Yeah.
started and being physically active. I mean, don't get
Mm-hmm.
me wrong. Majority of the shit she says has no scientific backup whatsoever. And the reason why she gets so many views is because she herself has abs and she has a good
Mm-hmm.
production team. Like, you gotta
Yeah.
give credit when credit's due. She has nice thumbnails. I mean, she looks aesthetically pleasing. I mean, she's fit. And
Mm-hmm.
like she makes good videos, but however, it's still a good way, I guess, to get people out of being sedentary. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember myself like in high school, I used to do these types of workouts too, like like
Yeah.
right before going to the beach, like 1 week.
Yeah.
You used to believe that
Oh my
shit,
God.
diba? Like
The
you used to
30
believe
day
that stuff.
insanity. I
Hmm.
don't know if you know that. Oh my God. Yeah,
Yeah,
I did
and
that.
like it was like obviously wrong in terms of biomechanics, in terms of the exercise that we are doing and exercise physiology, but I guess it started like me on my journey to becoming more of a fit person. And no, it's not sustainable. No, it's not the most effective way to exercise, but it's a good way to get people to start. And I just hope
Yeah.
at this point that she adjusts and learns from like other influencers out there. I actually saw a
Yeah.
video of her working out with one of these like power weight lifters and bodybuilders,
Oh,
and
that's
it
good.
was hilarious. She was
Oh,
dying. She was doing like a face pull, and then her face was like, because like in all of these videos, it's like so confident, pa cute pa,
yeah.
smiling. This one is like
Yeah.
she was making ugly faces now. That's when you know. That's when you know you hit in progressive overload. That's when you know.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, hopefully I hope that she finds more knowledge from other influencers out there. So at least the 10 million subscribers that are subscribed to her are
Mhm.
learning the right things. And I feel like that's
Yeah.
what's most important.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, she just has to take the criticism like well. Like, just don't call it hate, just call it criticism and help that improve her content and everything.
Yeah, completely agree. All right, so we'll be going into our next topic, which is Avatar the Last Airbender. But first, and we're back. So, welcome back to the Rockets Modern Life podcast. Um, for this next segment, we will be talking about a topic that is very passionate to Niña, and that is the Avatar The Last Bender. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this, not only is she a diehard fan, but there's also news from the the Last Airbender Netflix series. So I'm gonna just read a little bit from an excerpt from Verge last week, and it said this: The Last Airbender's creators quit Netflix live action adaptation over creative differences. The Last Airbender creators Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Konietzko are no longer working in the live action series adaptation set for Netflix. DiMartino said, "Whatever version ends up on screen, it will not be what Brian and I had envisioned or intended to make." Konietzko added to DiMartino's frustrations and wrote on Instagram that it wasn't about them having control over the series. They were perfectly fine collaborating as long as they felt that those ideas were in line in, with the spirit of and integrity of Avatar, he wrote. So, building off that, I guess I just wanted to ask, what were your initial thoughts on the departure of Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian
And
Conietzo
yet,
on
my
the
God,
Netflix live action series? It broke my
I
heart, so I'm sure
I
yours
cry. I'm
too.
not joking. I think I was studying and then like I took a break. I went on Facebook, happy, and then biglang he posted that like a few minutes ago on his Facebook page, and I was like, "Sir, it's supposed to my Facebook time is supposed to be a happy time. You're not supposed to make me cry." But oh my God, I don't know. I'm just so frustrated because I had a lot of hope for this because dude, okay. Yung when the live action movie came out, I didn't even watch it. Like not
Yeah,
even the
same.
trailer. I couldn't even make it past the trailer. It's just the fact that like what the firebenders now in the movie have to have fire to
What
be
the
able
fuck?
to firebend. Yeah. So I was like, what? What? And then song, and then I was like, no, just stick to it. And that's because the creators weren't a part of the whole process of the movie. And now it's not gonna be in that on they're not gonna be in the whole process of Netflix. So I'm not sure how faithful they're gonna be to it. Like I mean, I remember when they announced that Riverdale was gonna be on Netflix, and then it just turned out. I mean, it's not
It
the worst,
it just turned
but
into a chick flick though.
yeah.
Like it was more about the romance than the actual like solving crimes of Archie.
My God, I was so frustrated, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
And I don't, because, okay, the thing is, I don't watch, like, I think I've only ever finished, like, a handful of series, and I'm just so frustrated if Avatar's not gonna turn out nice, because this is, like, my all-time fave, because, like, in grade 4 to 5, I had no friends, so they were my friends. So, I'm
They
not
were your
joking.
crew. It was
They
your
were.
crew.
I felt like they were my gang.
Gang, gang.
Oh my god. Like, so I don't know. I just feel so connected to Avatar, and like every time I think like I'm stressed, I just end up watching Avatar. Like, I'm glad Avatar was on Netflix way
Mm.
before it was Avatar was on Netflix here in the Philippines way before it was in America. So parang I remember, I think I was third year. Um, hindi pang watching it lang sa jeep because I wanted to cry because I didn't know what was. I just picked an
Feels long.
episode and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm gonna watch this one.
And cry.
So yeah, and try to it. And I don't know. I'm just really sad about it, and I don't think I hope it's gonna turn out well, but honestly, I feel like it's not gonna turn out well without them. So
Yeah, same. I guess my bold prediction would be like I feel like there's still a chance. Like it's really sad that these producers are not gonna be on the show because time and time again there are so many TV series, books, and other things that get like live action remakes of it and are just horrible. They super like
Percy
just
Jackson.
yeah, you don't even need to cut. Percy Jackson was shit. Percy Jackson was ass. Like that was one of my favorite books growing up. It's one of the books that made me start reading in the first place. And oh my god, they just shat the bed so bad.
Oh my
They
god.
shat the bed so bad. And
The
yeah, I guess overall, I feel like there still is a chance that it may be entertaining because I'm sure that the production team is still gonna be good, like in terms of graphics and stuff. And I think that's gonna be better than on the movie because that's not a high bar to beat. The movie was horrible, 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 horrible. But I don't believe it will emit the same good vibes and moral lessons that the animated
oh
series did. Because I mean
yeah.
that's really comes from the producers, and without them, I don't think it'll like hit home, with like some lines and
Oh,
stuff. But I mean, I'm an optimistic guy, so I'm hoping it's still gonna be a little bit better. And not to mention, we also got some Filipino representatives in the cast, so that's like pretty
in both
huge.
cast?
Yeah. So check it out. We got Darren Espanto, and he's gonna be Jet, and Andrea
Is
Brillantes.
that real? Is
It's for
this
real.
real?
This is from IMDb, so it's pretty much as legit as it gets. Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I thought
Yes.
they were gonna Oh my god. Okay, I'm glad because like I thought they were gonna age up the cast because
But
that's what I saw.
yeah.
So I was like, oh thank god they're not gonna age up the cast.
Yeah.
They're gonna make older
The
everyone
last
now.
thing we want is it to turn into like some kind of chick flick, and it's all about
Yeah.
like Ang and Katara's relationship. That's the
Oh
last thing we want.
my
Yeah.
god. I didn't know this. Wow, I'm so
Yeah.
amazed.
Yeah, pretty cool. Like Andrea Brillantes was in a bunch of different local films such as Annalisa, Cadenang Ginto, and Spark, and then this Darren Espanto guy is in a bunch of other stuff and was in I Can See Your Voice Philippines. Grabe si Darren. Galing, hanep. Tapos ngayon, jet na.
But like, okay, here's my only take on this. Cause
Okay, let's hear it.
like I want the cast to be true to itself. So like cause I read a lot about it. And for example, I think the Fire Nation, they're Japanese or parang
Yeah,
Japanese or Korean, I forgot. So parang
something like
they're
that.
Oriental Asian, and
Yeah,
then Katara's Inuit, and
yeah.
then parang like the different
Yeah,
Asians.
regions of like near China,
Asia.
I guess. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Basing
So
Se is supposed to be like Beijing or something like that. Yeah,
yeah. So parang I was just kind of parang I mean I love that there's Filipino there and like a Filipino there and everything. It's just I also because I was hoping I mean yeah, it means a lot like for a Filipino to be there, but I also know like it means a lot if for example an Inuit plays the lead mismo, because I mean that's the representation I think they also deserve since the character was based off of their culture.
yeah,
So, but I mean, it's up to Netflix. I just hope they don't ruin it
yeah,
with the whole plot. Like, please,
yeah.
sorry.
Just please, just don't butcher it. We've been through enough
Yeah.
pain. Percy
But,
Jackson was horrible.
Oh my god.
I
But
can go
thank
on and
God
on.
Harry Potter.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
The only reason Harry Potter is good is because J.K. Rowling she had a huge influence over like their screenplay all the time. So even up to the recent one, what's the recent one called? Basta like
Um, Fantastic
um
Beasts. Yeah,
yeah, Fantastic
Fantastic
Beasts.
Beasts. That was
Even
good.
with
That was
the
good.
it was really good because she has a lot parang she has a huge say on the screenplay. So I was kind of hoping Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Konietzko would be like that, but I don't know now.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate because it's really the writers and the producers that truly know like what vibe and kind of what message to bring out in every episode. And I feel like it's super important when you're creating a live action to, obviously you could play around with the characters, play around with the animatics, but you still need to be true to what the show really is. And what Avatar is a fun, light show with like cool action scenes, but lessons that really hit hard, you know? And I only truly really got to appreciate it actually when I rewatched it over this ECQ because they had it on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, I should rewatch Avatar. And wow, like some of the lines there, like wow,
Deep. It's so
like
deep.
Uncle Iroh when he was on that hill singing that song for his son. Oh my God,
Oh my
waterworks,
god, that was
waterworks.
tears.
Yeah,
But I just hope they keep the like how like I think it taught us a lot of lessons when we were kids. Like and it didn't teach us it didn't teach it to us in a way na to scare us. Like okay, like honestly what the Fire Nation did was is genocide, but they didn't make it look too scary. I don't know.
yeah.
And but they taught us a lot of like a lot about like morality and everything. So I enjoyed that
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, and the whole character arcs were fantastic. How Ang was just like a simple kid, not like just wanted to have a good time, but then as the season played on, he developed all of his other responsibilities. And then Zuko, at the start he was just like a frustrated guy with some
Yeah.
serious daddy and mommy issues. And then,
Mm-hmm.
when he finally got in touch with himself, that's the only time he got to like realize who he truly is and why he's here. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, it's the same kind of the same journey that we're all going through. And that's why
Yeah.
I think it was such a good show because it was just so relatable. So
It
relatable
is.
in so many
Yeah.
levels. But,
Oh
they
my
can bend and shit, so that's the only thing that separates us.
oh my god, this meme.
Yeah,
Oh.
so good. All right, so on to the next question. I would just like to ask, who is your favorite character in the whole Bending universe? So this includes Legend
Oh,
of Korra. Yeah, includes Legend of Korra. If you want, I can go ahead and start first. So my
you
favorite,
go first.
yeah, okay. So you got some time to think as well. So my favorite character is Bolin from Legend of Korra. Now, why do you ask this? It's because he's funny and also super powerful. He can bend earth, metal, and lava. He has an adorable red panda named Pabu. Dubs, you mind going back? Look at Pabu. I mean, come on. How can you not love Pabu? He's adorable, intelligent, best sidekick you could ask for. And on top of that, Bolin is also an actor. He played those cinematography, the great
Oh, that
Bolin.
was so weird. That was
It
so
was
funny.
it was great. He was
Oh, that's
hilarious.
so
He's
funny.
powerful, and I guess he just kind of resonates with me too. Loves animals, kind of a goofball, but it's also very powerful in his own way. Wow, ganon.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that's my favorite character. What about you?
Okay, kasi I I want to be a Toph. Like my this is the thing. Like my favorite character is who I want to be. But the thing is, like a lot of my friends would always tell me, "But you're actually like this." Okay, kasi with Korra, I only watched the first season when it came out
Mhm.
because high school was hard, and also I didn't like it, and then I realized only through my brother during this ECQ. True. Like, and also my friends would tell me the only reason you don't like Cora is because you are Cora and you relate to her and you don't like that. And honestly, I was like, I'm hurt. But I mean, it's true. Like Cora was. I saw this thing on Facebook. It was like Ang was a person learning how to be an avatar, and like Korra, she grew up as an avatar and she was learning how to be a person. That's why I think she resonated with a lot of people, and a lot of people didn't like her just because they could relate so much to her shit. Like her life was like her decisions were so bad, her personality was bad, but it became good.
It
It's
did.
just she was growing throughout the whole season, and it's just we didn't take the time. Like I mean, for me as someone who didn't super like it in at first, because yeah, it's true. I felt attacked every time because like I was just like, damn, is this me? And then I rewatched it, and then it's her rash decisions. That's me. Or like how she's so emotional, or she doesn't think when she acts. That's me. So I didn't like watching that, and the reason why I enjoyed watching Avatar was because I was like, I want to be like Toph, but I'm not. If ever I'm a crier, like Katara, and always just like sticks to it. So let's see. Who is my favorite? I'm literally deciding right now because I can't choose. You know what? I'm gonna choose it's Toph. Like she's my favorite, even if I'm not like her, but she's my favorite. Like even up
Yeah.
to Korra. Like I think what's that Operation Beifong? Like do you
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
that
I do
episode?
remember when she went to
Oh
the
my
forest and
god!
then saw Toph.
And then her family, and then
Yeah.
they're all so amazing.
Yeah, it
Oh
was
my
so nice.
god.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
Toph also. She's just like a badass, doesn't give a fuck. Like so confident in herself. Like, she knows she's not perfect, but she knows that she is still powerful and that
Yeah.
although she has limitations, like she can't see, she knows that she ain't gonna take shit from anyone. And she's gonna assert herself. She's confident and she's ideal. But
I'm
maybe
sure.
I guess why you more I think more girls would resonate with Cora is because she's just like your average teenage girl. She gets frustrated so easily, has such a hard time making decisions. Her decisions are strongly influenced by her emotions and all of that stuff. And it's just like, it's what every girl goes through. So it's just more relatable, really. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, Ang was kind of just like a perfect good boy that was trying to learn how to be a leader. But
Aspirational.
yeah,
That was.
aspiration.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. What a good word for
Oh,
that. All right, so that was a great convo. I hope you enjoyed talking about one of your passions in life, which is the Avatar
Avatar.
world. All right, so we'll get into the next segment right after this quick break. And then
Wait,
you
can I
game?
pee?
Okay, sige, I'll pause. And we're back. All right. So for the last segment of this podcast, we'll be talking a little about Niña's audio media history and the Hear 'Em Out podcast. So first, I guess I just want to start with mentioning to our guests that Niña was a courtside reporter for season 78 and 79. And, being a courtside reporter, there's a lot of experiences that you can learn from the media industry. And it was cool how you got to do it for 2 years in a row. So I guess building off that, I wanted to ask, what is your favorite and least favorite thing about being a courtside reporter? And you could share some experiences on that as well.
Hmm. Okay. My favorite is definitely writing, because you have to write your report in like less than a minute, like 1 to 2 minutes, and sometimes less than a minute. Depends. Especially when it's volleyball, there's no time.
Yeah.
And but I enjoy that. I really love writing, and then I love getting to know the players. I love knowing the backstory. Um, but it's not that I don't like it, but I I never lost the butterflies or the fear of being on cam. Like, okay, for the people who were watching the video, that is me masking it, because there is so much fear in me, like about like just talking in front of a camera. I know I should be like used to it already, because like I mean, okay, I was in U up 2 years and I was in PVL, but like everyone kept saying, "Oh, after 4 games, you're gonna lose the butterflies." Like, sis, I only learned how to mask my fear, but the butterflies never went away, and it's like thank God, like my, because Okay, other people cope. Other people, when they get nervous, they poop. Buti na lang mine is not like that. Mine is like
Yeah.
I eat before,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that's why I like the team. Like I guess one of my favorite things also. It's not really related, of course, but okay, no, it's working
All
with
good.
ABS-CBN
Mm-hmm.
because it's like they know me as the person who eats a lot. So I have tasted most of the food both in like Phil Oil, Moa, and Araneta. So
Wow.
I just go around like if I'm there 3 hours early, I'm gonna spend my first hour there eating, and then the makeup artist at the Mai, she's always like, "Kumakain ka na naman? Mamaya." Yes, and she's gonna be like, I'll do your makeup later because like I keep on eating. And
What's your
that's my
favorite
favorite.
food so far? Like amongst the
Popcorn.
three, popcorn talaga.
Popcorn in Moa. Wait. Corn dog in
Corn dog
Moa.
and moa.
Popcorn or corn dog in Moa. I can't choose. Basta Moa has really good food. They also have Jamaican patties. Actually, no,
Oof.
Araneta also has Jamaican
Yeah.
patties.
Jamaican patties, money. That's
I
like
can't.
that's my go-to UAAP food whenever I watch Jamaican patty.
Oh my god.
Cheesy beef
So
pinatubo, hit me up. Hit me
yes,
up. So good.
God. But because it is weird. Like I mean, I like diba, I was a freshie and a sophomore in when I was a courtside reporter. So I was
Yeah.
always like,
Galing nga.
so it was like, okay, honestly, I don't I if anyone's listening to this and has worked with me, they already know how much like I'm still confused for why they like I'm not joking. It's like I applied like 2 weeks, like first 2 weeks of UP. Yung tipong we already had class.
Mhm.
And then I applied. And then it said there now, oh, you have to be 18 years old. But I was 17 and I applied anyway. And then my mom was like, the worst thing they can do is say no because you're 17. It's like, oh, okay. So there was this like a long process. And then I would always be with like com majors or like people who are already radio DJs or like a mixed VJ. And I was like, sis, I'm just here for like, hello, I'm a first year. I don't actually know much about my course yet. So, because they were like, oh, what's your course? What's your course? Like, to get to know
Yeah.
each other. And
The
I'm
interview. Yeah.
sports science, but I'm not really sure what we do here yet. I'm extremely
Frosh na
old.
frosh.
I'm super. So I, I still think the only reason why, what do you call this? I got it, if ever, is because like I understand basketball a little, like because of
Crucial.
my best friend. Because my best friend is from best friend Ira. If she's listening to this,
Shout out to Ira.
she was on the basketball team and she always like she loved the Lakers and everything and LaSalle. So she'd always talk about it and I'd ask her to explain it. I was like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Explain. And I think it's because of that na I understood what this thing they were trying to ask about and like other people didn't understand it, but I did, so I'm kind of proud. But at
Mhm.
the same time, it's just like I have no communication background. Why you get me? Yeah, it was a fun 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. You did a really good job, honestly. I was watching some of your clips a while ago just to
Thank
refresh it. Dude, you were
you.
really good. You were really good. Don't be ashamed about it.
Oh,
Like,
that
I
was
think
so bad.
I think it's super important. Well, you also super improved on your second year. That I must say. You also really improved in your second year, and I think it's really important for the courtside reporter to know what the fuck is going on. You can't just be a pretty face, like reporting that stuff. It's super important to know what's like going on in the game. You need to know like what an and one is, what a backcourt violation is. You need to know your stuff. And another thing that I think you did very well in is also relationship building with the players and coaches, because that just really adds more of a story to when you're
Yeah. Yeah,
reporting
it
about the things. And you know it makes the game more exciting when you add a little bit of story behind the players, because oftentimes when you watch these players, it's like you kind of forget that they're still human beings. They're still going
yeah,
through
yeah.
all of these same challenges that everybody is on a day-to-day basis. And I feel like it's that's when you know a courtside reporter is doing a good job, when when he or she can kind of relate the personal stories that they witnessed together or that they talked about prior to the game. So like why that game was so important to that person, how that person was able to bounce back from, these tribulations that he or she may be facing. And I think you were able to get that pretty well. So good job on that.
Thank you. I still feel like I'm still so shy about like my courtside days. Like, and if anyone tells me, "Oh, hey, I watched you," and I'm like, "Huh? I don't, oh no." I get so shy because I feel like, yeah, it wasn't. I feel like maybe I could have done better, but I don't know. Oh,
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I mean, we always think that we can do better in the past, but I guess what's just the most important is doing well as the best that you can in the present. And in the present, you are currently a co-host of the Hear 'Em Out podcast. So from courtside reporting, going into same audio media by doing the Hear 'Em Out podcast. So I guess this, for those of you listeners who don't know what the Hear 'Em Out podcast is, it's a podcast by Niña and her co-host Jeff, and they talk about, interesting topics that aren't being talked about enough in the Philippines. And, everything that you need to hear here is that,
Oh my
like,
God, this
oh
is
no.
like.
Yeah, I did my research. I did my research. So I want to start off by asking the question: how did Hear 'Em Out podcast start, and like what is it for those people that don't know what it is?
Okay, so legit, one of the people, because we're a team actually, so it's me and Jeff as the hosts, and then it's Sina, Joel, and his friends. They wanted to start a podcast, and honestly, kasi I wanted to, but I also didn't know how.
Mm.
And I was just glad that they came up and they were like, "Oh, how do you like this idea?" And I also I love the whole creative process of like who are we gonna what do we want to talk about. I think this is our like your podcast is like so chill and I love it.
Yeah,
And like ours
thank
is
you.
like I mean it's not we're not serious. We're a
No, it's
little bit
it's
it's serious.
informational. It's informational. I like to say it's informational. So it's
It's
straight to the
yeah.
point. There's no fluff anymore. It's like, what you need to hear. That's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As in we just want I guess like a lot of people to like we just want a lot of people to learn from it also because like I remember I mean I'm sure you love podcasts, that's why you started this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love listening to podcasts that I learn something from it. So if I'm listening to an experience of someone, I love how like I love that there's a takeaway all the time, or like usually if I guess when I need my brain to wake up, that's when I need to listen to a podcast that has to make me think.
Yeah.
Like a chill
Stimulates your brain.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to. But like a chill podcast is for like when I need to like make my brain like shut down to sleep and
Yeah.
But like I mean, going back to the question, dami ko na sinabi.
Okay
Going
lang.
like going back, like it was literally just Joel and his friends, and it's because they wanted to start this podcast because they themselves did not want to be on it. So they asked us, "Hey, can you talk? Because you guys are talkative, and like we knew each other already, so it was fun." I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's so far I've been having so much fun, like interviewing people, learning a lot from them, and when you learn, you get an epiphany during a podcast, and you're like,
Yeah. Like, oh my
"What?"
God, what?
Yeah,
Like
diba? So it's
existential
so
crisis.
fun.
Like, why didn't I think of this before?
Diba? As in, I enjoy those moments. Like honestly, we've only had a few shows, but like it's been fun, diba? Like I mean, I'm sure you're
Yeah.
having so much
I'm
fun.
having so much fun, and I love learning kasi by talking over like conversations. And I feel like especially during these quarantine times, it's really important to stay connected and stay informed about the different things. So I like listening
Yeah.
to sports podcasts, lifestyle podcasts like Joe Rogan, and the list goes on and on. For the listeners who are interested in podcasts in general, I mean, if you reach this late into the show, you probably are interested in podcasts. But kind of give them a short description of Hear 'Em Out. Like, what are you? What's your goal? Why are you guys doing Hear 'Em Out podcast?
So literally our line is what you need to hear here. So we're basically like what we want is to make sure that people get to listen to people who like oh my god, I can't explain it, but it's basically like what we think is very important right now because the news is filled with things that aren't the best. Okay, I think I said that in the nicest way possible.
Yeah, that was
but
actually pretty proper.
it's filled with those things, and it's like people don't really get to see. Like for example, we recently did a show on Project Insight, and it's a good thing because they actually make talks like super random. It can be from like an economic standpoint or from like parang I forgot they had like an astronomy thing, and it's just parang I just want like a whole like what we want and hear them out is for those people to also be heard out, is that right? To also be heard. And I think that's very important nowadays because we don't parang people don't super listen nowadays. So
Yeah.
now I guess sana with the help of our podcast, like it can help people to realize okay, there's some good in the world, you know.
Yeah. I love it. I love what you guys stand for and what your purpose is and your art. That art is amazing. Who made that? Do you have any idea?
It was Avin. I'm not sure. I think he's doing the marketing, I think. So it's Avin. And then there's Austin and Brennan. And like, as in they're just the friends and they're like, okay, let's talk about this. And I enjoy that. Like, I genuinely, like, I love the whole creative process. It's so fun pala to make a podcast.
It
I used to be so
is.
shy.
It's a lot of fun. So, what do you do specifically? You just work on the outline and stuff, or do you like do more of the technical stuff as well?
Oh, I'm not the technical stuff because I feel like I'll be so bad at that. I don't know how you're doing that. Like, dude, ang galing. Like, you're doing everything.
Yeah, I am. Research lang. Well, I gotta give credit when it's due. Dubs, he's helping me out. Shout out to Dubs. He's here in the background. My girlfriend Mikey also helps with a lot of other like small things that I like didn't oversee. But I mean, I'm given so much time nowadays before school starts,
Yeah.
so might as well make the most out of it and have fun. That's the most
Yeah.
important thing about this podcast is having fun. All right.
Yeah, but the tech stuff, dude, I can't.
It's pretty fun, honestly. Like I find joy in it also as well.
Oh my
Garage
god.
band lang.
Ooh.
All right, so to wrap up this podcast, I am adding a new segment that I'm going to test it out, see how it does, and it's called "What is your why?"
Why?
What do you mean why? 'Cause you can't.
So, what is your why? Why do you do the things that you do every day? What keeps you motivated? What is your reason to be? So, like, I guess this question's kind of like, what gets you up to do the things that you do every single day and get out of bed and get productive?
I think, well, nowadays, definitely it's my main goal is to become a sports lawyer. And I talked about that earlier. But in general, like why I get up and why I do things, just kind of, I mean, this sounds selfish, but like, I guess to make myself happy. Because, I mean, we have to live every day. And recently, it's what like I kind of realized in the podcast na nga I did. But it's not yet out, so I don't know if I can say the name. But like
No
basically,
worries.
what I learned from that podcast is definitely, you know how as an athlete you're always told only control the things that you can control, and it's very like applicable now, especially in quarantine and everything. There are so many things we can't control, and I think the reason why I get up now is just to sort of like feel like I have control over my life just a little bit, and that itself, like me feeling like I accomplished even like the tiniest thing, like making coffee or something. I feel like that makes me happy. And right now, especially in quarantine, that's my why. And I just I know I should evolve from that soon, but right now my general why is because I want to be happy. I'm doing things that make me happy. Like, I'm doing things that excite me. And even if it's kind of like, okay, like I do a lot of things that are unrelated, but it's because like I'm genuinely interested in every single thing. And I'm I'm afraid of failure, but like I don't mind if I fail. Like, I'll just cry for a few weeks and then
Just gonna
back
cry
up.
a bit.
Like, yeah, I mean, I'll just find like like my why is because I want to be happy with everything that I'm doing. Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's a super good point. I feel like especially now in these quarantine times, it seems like everything's going out of control and that we're losing control. And I feel like it's really important that to get these little wins in, whether it be your habits,
definitely.
whether it be enjoying that cup of coffee in the morning or enjoying that Netflix series at the end of the day after you've gotten your work done. I feel like that's really important for your mental health in order to just stay sane during these quarantine times because a lot of shit's going on in the world right now and it's honestly really hectic and it's important to make yourself feel good every day, every once in a while, and yeah, have a reason to own the day and own the next day.
Yeah,
So yeah, that was
definitely.
great. Thank you so much for that, Nina. So I just want to wrap up the show by saying thank you again for being on the show. Honestly, I had so much fun talking with you, and it was great to learn a lot of things from you as well. So now would be a perfect time for you to plug in where people can find you.
It's time to pull the plug.
Okay, guys, find me on Instagram. Just Instagram, because I am quitting TikTok.
Whoa! You heard it here first, Niña Alvia. Out of TikTok. Headliner.
Oh, I can't. I can't do TikTok while during law school. I don't know how people do that. But yeah, anyway, just find me on Instagram, Nina Alvia. I'm also not going on Twitter that much, so Instagram.
Instagram is where it's at. You could also
Mm.
find Hear 'Em Out podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Anchor as well. So, again, thank you so much for being on the show, and I hope to see you soon. Peace out, guys. Deuces.
Bye.